This is a masterpiece, and I will put this fragrance in the same category as Grand Soir. That proves how strong this fragrance projects. It lasts about 12 to 14 hours on my skin. It really is a powerhouse, massive compliment getter. People really love this perfume, and projection, guys, is nuclear. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Giselle, I review perfumes. Welcome if you're new, and welcome back if you're one of my loyal returning subscribers. So guys, today is all about fragrances that actually project. I know projection, performance in general, it's a deal breaker. And today I bring you guys a few fragrances that truly project. They project like crazy. So if you want to learn more about these fragrances, stay tuned. So before getting started, I wanted to let you know that I'm running a giveaway on Instagram. So if you want to participate, you have to head over to my Instagram account. You can find me at @GB_fragrances. And it's very easy peasy, straightforward. Fragrance of the giveaway, it's a beautiful grown-up gourmand called Macaron Bourbon. It's a beautiful sugary grown-up gourmand, as I was saying. It's very soft, very feminine, and it has that beautiful addictive gourmand touch that most people love. It has caramel, it has cinnamon, it has a little bit of patchouli, musk, vanilla, tonka. It's a really, really beautiful fragrance, guys. So if you want to participate, you are still on time. I just started it yesterday. And again, you have to head over to my Instagram account at @GB_fragrances, and you will see how to participate. Again, it's super duper easy and very straightforward. And without further ado, let's dive in. As I said at the beginning, I'm going to talk about fragrances with incredible projection. And the first one on my list is Scent Cherry by Scientology. So in full transparency, I received this fragrance as a gift from Scent Split with no obligation to post or review this fragrance whatsoever. It was completely up to me. Thank you so much, Scent Split, for sending me this. I love this perfume, so I wanted to share it with you. Wow, this fragrance is so different from your typical cherry fragrances that I think that factor alone, it's worth trying this fragrance. If it's not for you, it's not for you, but I think it's definitely worth trying. And I also think this is the only cherry fragrance on the market that personally I consider unisex. Most of the other cherry fragrances are very feminine or feminine leaning, in my opinion. Well, this one is completely unisex, and I would say it's a tad bit masculine leaning. So my understanding is that the perfumer Pierre Guéraud was experimenting with the original fragrance, Synergy. So apparently he removed the mango note and he added cherry. And he came up with this super juicy, fruity, sweet, strong, loud, and unapologetic cherry fragrance. So this is what I know about Scent Cherry, and I really like it a lot. This is a very different fragrance. As I was saying, we have a lot of things going on here because we have a lot of different notes. We have fruity notes in the opening. Cherry, of course, is the start of the show, so the cherry here is very, very prominent. If you're looking for a cherry prominent perfume, this one is a must try. But we also have blackcurrant or cassis. We have pear, which add a lot of sweetness and juiciness to the fragrance. So the opening is very bright and very juicy. After 15-20 minutes, the fragrance transitions into a fruity floral core. So we still have fruits here, which is mango, but we also have jasmine, we have rose, and we have violet. The fragrance is so stunning, guys, and we have a very beautiful base with caramel, vanilla, patchouli, a little bit of moss, which makes the fragrance slightly dewy. It's really beautiful and really unique. I like the complexity of this fragrance. There are many facets, many edges, and all of them are really, really incredible. If you like unique fragrances, I think this one is a must try, especially if you like cherry, but you don't like the typical cough syrupy cherry. This is nothing like that. This is not cough syrupy, which for me is a deal breaker in most cherry fragrances. Most of them smell like a little bit like cough syrup. This one doesn't, and as I said, it's also very unisex. So if you guys, my male subscribers, are curious about cherry fragrances that aren't too feminine, this one is a must try. It lasts about 10 hours on my skin, and projection, guys, is nuclear. So if you haven't yet and you want a very unique take of the typical cherry fragrances, I think Scent Cherry is a must try. The next fragrance on my list today is Midnight Special by 𝑓𝐸𝐸. Shocker, we have another 𝑓𝐸𝐸 fragrance here. Oops. Midnight Special, it's very special. Let me tell you. This is a very unique take on your typical rose fragrance. We have an overdose of rose here. However, it's a very beautiful, jammy, sweet, syrupy rose. Very different from the typical rosy bouquet style or rose leather, rose wood combos we have on the market. This perfume is rich, deep, dark, opulent, and also very jammy, as I was saying. We have a very jammy and sweet rose. It's also slightly spicy. We have cinnamon and we have saffron in the opening. However, they are pretty prominent, and I think those spices take the rose to a whole new level. The base is also very beautiful. We have vanilla, which adds a little bit of sweetness. Mind you, this is not a gourmand scent at all, but it is a little bit sweet, which complements the jammy rose to perfection. It also has patchouli, which anchors the composition. It adds a lot of complexity as well. There's not much about the scent of patchouli, but about grounding the fragrance and making it a little bit earthy. It's a very powerful, very strong fragrance. However, it's very smooth, velvety, satiny. It's really, really beautiful. It's a very elegant fragrance, but it's also pretty versatile. Don't think that you have to have like a red carpet event to rock this fragrance. Honestly, you can wear this fragrance anytime you want. Personally, I think this is a nighttime scent. To me, it's 100% a nighttime fragrance. However, you can wear it whenever you want. It's pretty versatile, as I was saying, but it leans a little bit more on the formal side, and I love to wear it in winter nights. The colder the weather, the better. It's a very unique rose fragrance, as I said at the beginning. However, if you see the notes, don't be fooled by that, because you might think, oh no, this is another rose fragrance, especially those people who don't like rose. Personally, I'm not a rose lover, but this perfume, guys, is a completely different thing. It really is a completely different type of rose. So don't be fooled by the notes, and I highly encourage you to test this fragrance on your skin, because it smells nothing like what you might have in mind when you read those notes. It lasts about 12 to 14 hours on my skin. It really is a powerhouse, massive compliment getter. People really love this perfume. And even though it's a very powerful, strong fragrance, it's not an aggressive scent, so to speak. So if you like deep, rich, opulent scents, and if you like fragrances like Eau Bouquet, for example, I think you're gonna love this one. Not because they are similar, because actually scent-wise, they couldn't be more different. However, I would put both of them in the same category. Both are syrupy, both are very opulent, very rich, very expensive smelling. So if that type of scent profile is your vibe, this one is a must try. So if you haven't yet, I highly encourage you to try Midnight Special by 𝑓𝐸𝐸. The next fragrance on my list today is Tommy Iommi Defied. This perfume was one of my best discoveries of 2024. I share this story. I discovered this fragrance during a trip last year in the middle of the summer, in the middle of the heat wave. And although to me this is a typical cold weather type of scent, I fell so hard for it that I had to buy it basically on the spot. I was in Europe at a department store. I went to Sergio's counter, and of course I wanted to try it. I did, and I left the counter because I wanted to wait a little bit. Usually I'm not impulsive when I buy my fragrances. I really like to have a very curated collection, so I don't buy everything and anything I come across. And for that reason, I want to take my time when I sample fragrances. So I sprayed on, I left the counter for an hour or two, something like that. And I remember stepping on the escalators, and there was a man behind me, and he said, "Excuse me, I hope you don't mind if I ask what fragrance you're wearing." And of course, I told him it was this one, but I also said that I was testing the fragrance, that I wasn't sure yet, but I was really loving it. And he said, "Oh my God, yes, it's incredible." And there was also a woman behind him nodding while he was complimenting me on the fragrance. And when I said that I was testing the fragrance, they both said, "Oh my God, please, you have to go for it because it smells absolutely incredible." And the gentleman also said that he could smell the fragrance even before he stepped on the escalator. So that proves how strong this fragrance projects. And I can tell you that I've been turning heads every step of my way during my trip, because every single night, even if it was in the middle of the summer, in the middle of the high heat, I wore this perfume and I couldn't stop wearing it. I didn't care. Honestly, I don't care much about seasons. I just wear fragrances based on my mood and not on temperature, right? So yeah, that was the case. I love this perfume. I wanted to share it with you because I know that many people don't like the original. I love both. And I can tell you that this perfume shouldn't even be a flanker. I think this fragrance has such a strong presence that it can stand on its own. It shouldn't even be a flanker, as I was saying. And even if you don't like the original, try this one because it is so different that even disliking the original, you might end up loving this one, or vice versa, because both are very, very different. The original, it's stronger in patchouli, it's sweeter. I find it more earthy, while this one, it's more leathery. It has rose, but the rose here, it's not a rosy rose. It's like a gothic rose. I think this fragrance has a very distinctive gothic component that makes it very sensual, very deep, very mysterious, very dark in the best possible way. I love this perfume. We have apples here, but we also have cinnamon and we have saffron. So we have a fruity, crispy, sweet type of opening. However, almost immediately I start picking like a leathery component, something very inky. This fragrance to me, guys, is drop dead gorgeous, and it's completely unisex. It leans a little bit on the masculine side, but ladies, this fragrance is stunning, trust me. And it's very long lasting. It lasts anywhere between 8 and 10 hours. It's very complex and it projects the entire time on your skin. I don't even mention clothes because usually I don't spray on clothes. Remember, the only way to test real performance is on skin, never on clothes. So if you haven't yet and you enjoy this type of scent profiles, deep, dark, gothic, leathery, mysterious, opulent, then this fragrance is a must try. Moving on, guys, the next one I have on my list today is Mon Boudoir by 𝑘𝐼. I reviewed this perfume before. This is such a classy, elegant, ambery vanilla fragrance. It's a floral ambery vanilla, very, very special, very unique, very classy, slightly powdery. The powderiness here is very subtle. It's there, you can pick the powderiness, but it's not a powderiness that smells vintage. Actually, this fragrance doesn't smell vintage at all, even though it is an old fragrance. Actually, this was Queen Mary's from Romania's signature scent, and my understanding is that she wore it until her last days. Then they discontinued this perfume and relaunched it years later in 2019 to celebrate the 100 years anniversary of the house. Guys, this is timeless beauty in a bottle. It's classy. It is a class act to me. It's the epitome of class and sophistication without smelling vintage. And I always make this point because I know that many people profoundly dislike floral fragrances because of that. I don't know why many people demonize vintage fragrances. Some of them are nice, just like in modern perfumery. Personally, I don't like every single release. That's why I always bring that up, because many people don't buy certain scent profiles because they think it smells vintage or old school. Now, this is all Hollywood at its best. I could picture Marilyn Monroe or even Audrey Hepburn pulling this off. It's so stunning. It opens powdery, citrusy, zesty, very sparkly, fizzy, and it is a little bit sweet. It's like a sweet, citrusy opening. It's not a sweet fragrance, but it does have a little bit of sweetness. I think it's just the right amount of sweetness that I think it's important to balance the citrusy opening. And then it settles into a very musky, vanilla, cloudy, fluffy, very sheer and ethereal base. To me, this is a masterpiece, and I would put this fragrance in the same category as Grand Soir. If you like Grand Soir by Maison Francis Kurkdjian, I think this one is a must try. At the very least, it's a must try, if not more, because I really think that this fragrance smells, I'm not going to say similar, but I would definitely put it in the same category. And honestly, let me tell you, I think Grand Soir smells more vintage than this one, although this one is way older, but Grand Soir smells more vintage than this one. Stunning perfume, very, very classy, very sophisticated, a class act in a bottle. Yeah, chef's kiss. The next fragrance on my list is Chocolate Oud by 𝑘𝐼. This is a gift I receive in PR. Shout out to 𝐾𝐿𝐷. They always send me the latest releases. And today I want to review Chocolate Oud. So Chocolate Oud belongs to the 𝐿𝙀𝙀𝘍 line, and it's my favorite line because I think it targets a little bit more mature audience, and I think it's the most different line from 𝐾𝐿𝐷. I think it detaches completely from the typical scents they release, which tend to be ultra gourmand, super yummy, flirty, super fun to wear, beautiful scents, undoubtedly. However, I think this line targets a more mature audience. Mona, please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my perception. The fragrances on this line are way more toned down on the sugary gourmand aspect, and Chocolate Oud is the one I want to review today. So it's really, really, really beautiful. So when I first tried this fragrance, my first reaction was, I smelled this before. And yes, it reminds me a lot of Invite Only Amber, which was a fragrance from the house that has been discontinued. And it also reminds me of Angel's Share. So there's a little bit of a booziness here. The opening is pretty similar to these two fragrances. However, as the fragrance transitions, you will start getting more and more of the dark chocolate note. And I also pick something semi-sweet and dusty. It's very sexy, it's deep, it's intoxicating, it has great lasting power. Projection is really, really remarkable. That's why it made it to this list. And it's a creamy dark chocolate, what I smell here. This is not like a creamy sweet milk chocolate. This is dark chocolate. Think about 70% cacao. That's the type of dark chocolate we have here. It's dark, but it's also very creamy. I love it. I think it's a very sophisticated fragrance. And again, sorry if I'm repeating myself. I had an accident yesterday. I was hit by a truck and thank God I'm here. Nothing happened, but I'm still nervous and anxious about what happened. So I don't even know how I'm filming today, to be honest. Yeah, I'm a little bit all over the place. So excuse me if I am repeating myself. As I said, in my opinion, this line targets a more mature audience. So you can expect a deeper, a richer type of scent. And this one in particular, I think it's perfect. It's actually perfect for all year round, but in particular for sweater weather. Because personally, it's the type of fragrance I like to wear in fall and winter. It's pretty cozy as well. Projection, as I said before, is remarkable. You will leave a whole bubble around you. I also love the fact that it's not an edible chocolate. I don't know you, but I'm a little bit over this gourmand craze, and I like gourmand fragrances. As I always say, I enjoy my gourmand notes, but nowadays, if I like a gourmand fragrance, it has to be a soft gourmand, or what I call the grown-up type of gourmand scent. I don't like anything reminiscent of pastry. It's not that I don't like sweet stuff, but I do like my sweets, of course. But if I'm craving cupcakes, I bake cupcakes or I go and buy cupcakes. I don't want to smell like a cupcake. Same with coffee, for example. I love coffee, but I don't want to smell like one. So if you're like me, and if you enjoy subtle gourmand notes, this fragrance is a must try, because the chocolate here, it's a very refined, creamy dark chocolate that together with that dusty cocoa note makes it perfect. One thing that I love about 𝐾𝐿𝐷 is that they include all the notes right here. This is a beautiful scent. It also has caramel, it has orris, so it's creamy, it's buttery, it's also slightly powdery, slightly incensey, slightly smoky, it's dark, it's mysterious, sexy, sensual. It's really, really beautiful. So if you like this type of scent profile, Chocolate Oud is a must try. But I highly encourage you to try it first, especially if you have Angel's Share or if you have Ocean, just in case you find it too similar. But other than that, it's a great fragrance. I absolutely love it. And I'm wearing it right now. I think it's more like a nighttime type of scent, but it's so beautiful that it's my scent of the day. So yeah, Chocolate Oud by 𝐾𝐿𝐷. The next fragrance on my list is Bois de Bain by Mathieu Premier. I think this is the most underrated fragrance from this house. I don't know why. No one talks about this, and it's incredible. This is one of the most stunning woodsy fragrances on the market. I love woodsy fragrances, especially sandalwood and cedar fragrances. And let me tell you that this one, it's something special. We have guaya good here and cypriol oil. Cypriol oil is a note that it's usually used in very sophisticated fragrances. So no surprise is here, because this perfume truly smells is very sophisticated, very elevated, very polished. It's very modern. It's a very modern woodsy scent. Cypriol oil also adds warmth, adds depth. It enhances longevity and also adds like a grounding effect to fragrances. This is a very clean woodsy scent. It's very versatile. It smells very upscale, very luxurious. This is the type of scent you smell in Europe in very luxurious hotels, especially in winter, near the holidays. This is the type of scent you smell in the lobby. So Bois de Bain, it's a day or nighttime type of scent, 100% unisex. If I haven't said it earlier, I'm saying it now. It's completely unisex. It lasts about 8 hours on my skin. That's without overspraying. And projection is the most remarkable aspect of its performance, because this fragrance never becomes a skin scent and it continues projecting for the entire time it stays on your skin. So guys, this wraps up today's video. I hope you enjoyed my content, and if that's the case, I would highly appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. Please don't forget to hit the bell icon so you won't miss my upcoming videos. Stay safe and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.